Wait, you have a TV?
No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. You don't need a TV.
Television addict! Television addict! Television addict!
Hey everybody, Ken Reed here, your TV guidance counselor, making our way in the world today through winter and pandemics and 2021, which is already better. I hope it's better for you. It's certainly better for me. March is approaching, everybody. We march into March, and March will mark the 1-year anniversary of the last time I did the show in person. So that will be kind of an odd anniversary. Who knows when I'll do it in person again? I'm thinking maybe October of 2021, but we shall see. Anyway, as I've mentioned earlier in the show, I mean, in episodes of the show, not in this show, like, 40 seconds ago, that one of the things that's been great about lockdown, which is not something I say often, is that I've been able to expand the realm of guests I have on the show. A lot of guests from the UK and Ireland and Canada and that sort of thing. But also, it's been a nice opportunity to sort of catch up with people that I've known forever that I haven't seen in a long time or don't see that often, who are in cities or states that I don't go to that often. And this episode is no exception. I have two guests this week. My guests are Micah Sherman, who's been on the show before, and who I know from Comedy in Boston and who I recorded with in New York. We talk about that there. And Dan Hirshon, who is also a really funny former Boston stand-up, I guess you would say, who is now in Chicago. Haven't seen him in a long time, and they've done a series of sort of sketch comedy albums that are really funny. They had me participate in one of them a few years ago called Lampshades and Ottomans. But their third one just came out. It's called The Breakup, and it's Micah Sherman, Dan Hirshon present The Breakup. You can get it wherever any albums are sold. They're streaming anywhere. It's a sketch comedy CD. It's very funny, and I think you should get it. But for the reason that they put out this record, I thought, what a great excuse to have them come on the show, and we can sit back and we can chat. And as I said, I know these guys forever. I get a little punchy in a fun way. This is a fun one, and I think you'll enjoy it. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of TV Guidance Counselor with my guests, the creators of the new sketch comedy album, The Breakup, Micah Sherman and Dan Hirshon.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
My guests, plural today, which same coast. We're all on the same coast, but in three different positions on it. Mr. Dan Hirshon and Mr. Micah Sherman. How are you both?
What it do, brother?
So, Dan, you're still in New York, right?
I am in Chicago right now.
Oh, then we're not on the same coast. Why did you let me do that intro?
Oh, God. Can we? Oh, jeez. You know what? I'm walking back to New York right now.
That's fine. Are you living in Chicago now?
Just for like a month or so.
Are you in a bank foyer? That's what it looks like on the Zoom.
I had to move into this small vestibule. I don't know if that's the correct use of vestibule. It's between the bathroom and it's as far away as the air conditioning unit that got super loud randomly.
Okay.
So,
I thought you were going to say it's between the bathroom and hell.
It's no, hell is the bathroom.
Well, yeah, and hell is for children. Therefore, the bathroom is for children. So you've been living in Chicago for a while.
My girlfriend's sister just had a baby. So
and you're the father, so you had to move to Chicago.
Yes, I had to admit to my girlfriend that there's a complication in the family now.
So they're all back in New York and you're hanging out. I get it.
Yes. Yeah.
No, she's presumably from Chicago and her family is there and you're visiting.
Yes.
Even though we're in a pandemic and that's very irresponsible of you.
Yes. What I'm saying is we're spreading COVID and I got to go.
So you're like a Johnny Appleseed for pandemic, for viral infections. I get it.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're an hour behind me. So was this the correct time? Because we said 5:30, but I didn't know if it was central because you kept this to yourself.
No, I know how to do math, so I figured it out that it's 4:30 my time.
Okay.
Now it's 4:45.
So you're
guys
missing
are late.
Judge Judy. You're missing the second Judge Judy right now.
It's playing in the background. Don't worry.
Okay. And Micah.
Thank God for DVR, huh?
That's right.
Woo!
That's right. David Veronius Roth. That's who you're talking about. That's the, you changed it to Lee.
Yeah.
So Micah's been on the show before. Micah and I recorded at the old Pit, or the new Pit. I think every comedy club's closed now anyway.
Hard to know if it's going to be open by the time this comes out.
It won't be. I tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we recorded in the dressing room there, and I forgot my Zoom recorder in the dressing room. Thought it was lost. Had a panic attack. Went back there and got it, and it all was right with the world. But that was a fun episode.
Now, Ken, do you have a photographic memory?
It's not photographic. It used to be a lot better.
You have a tremendous memory for things, because I don't even recall a Zoom recorder. I do remember that we were at the Pit in the dressing room.
Yep. And we talked about when I was on my way there were two garbage men, and one of them goes, hey, man, can we stop? I got to take a shit. And then the other one went, you going to blow it up? And he went, yeah. And then you asked me if
I can't believe you remember that
know.
conversation. Like, what
Word
an
for
innocuous nothing of a conversation.
Well, it was hilarious. And then you asked me if I saw a viral video of some woman in a hot tub. And then I said, was she having a problem? And you went, yeah, she was having a problem.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember us talking about it, but I sure remember that problem.
Yeah. Did you guys, one of my favorite things on earth is news bloopers. As you guys have known me for years. You know my love of news bloopers. It's well documented.
News bloopers are, I feel like news bloopers are an underappreciated compilation video on YouTube.
There's an account called News Be Funny that does a monthly compilation of the best news bloopers, and it is the purest of comedy. It is amazing. But there was one last year where they had at a Target, they had the bomb squad go in because some dude said he was going to go in the bathroom and blow it up. And someone called the police, but he was just taking a shit.
Yeah, I seen that one. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Dan, are you a news blooper fan?
Now I am. That sounds great. I haven't, not as much, no.
Yeah, there's a great
And that's
one.
why diversity at the workplace is important, right? Because if you just had one person who knew what blow it up means when they're walking into the bathroom, because first of all, who's going to plant a bomb in a bathroom? What good are you doing in there? Nothing. Nothing's happening in there.
Unless it's a cherry bomb and you're doing some kind of Goonies prank.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had in there
Oh, there's tons of fun to be had in a bathroom. Absolutely.
with a bum.
Yeah. Have you heard of bath bombs, Micah? They're pretty big.
Yeah, not in a public restroom.
Well, you're not going to the right public restrooms. I don't know what Florida's like. Micah moved to Florida, everybody. I don't know if I can share that.
That's exactly what Florida is like.
Yeah.
One
it's
big
like,
bath bomb.
oh, I was going to say a giant public restroom.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, speaking of news bloopers, Florida Man is genuinely real. I see him walking around every single day. It is like different parts of the country are like, oh, that Florida Man thing, ha ha. But like, we live with him here.
Yeah.
He's walking around all on meth and fighting alligators and riding other people's baby carriages through drive-thrus at Taco Bell. I mean, it's just the amount of nonsense that I've seen here. There's so much. I think that's Florida. Florida generally is
More
nonsense.
than New York, you're saying.
Yeah. So in New York, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of nonsense in New York. However,
But not poor people nonsense.
no, there's a lot of poor people nonsense. I mean, I've seen grown men bathing in the fountain in Washington Square Park with baby dolls.
As have I.
Matthew Silver is another guy that comes to mind. Dan, do you remember when we met
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Silver for the first time?
Yeah.
Matthew Silver.
Matthew Silver is a performance artist who, when Dan and I first, and this is interesting because we took a video of this guy, and I think I've met him a couple times since, but he's the kind of guy that will get up in your face and be like, "The world is beautiful." Ah! Did you see Soul?
No. Were you talking about Mike Kaplan?
Nope. No, different guy. Matthew Silver.
He runs around. He's runs around naked half the time, or like wears like I don't know, like just underwear, and has like this super long beard and wild crazy hair.
Oh, the naked cowboy
And-
guy.
He's like the naked cowboy if he really let himself go for a day or so. And,
I follow him on Instagram. He went live and he's doing the same exact thing on Instagram that he does in Union Square. The first time Dan and I saw him, he was wearing a white dress and he had a magic wand and he was running around New York, getting up in people's faces and skipping around. And I was like, Dan, we got to follow that guy. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but
And by follow, you mean join whatever he was whatever cult he had.
100%. Like, this was like, I think right when I got an iPhone and I was like, oh my God, I have a video camera on me. And so I started filming him and he caught me and I was like, uh-oh, because I'd never seen this guy before. And he comes up and he's like, hello, I am the man in the white dress. And I was like, yeah, you're definitely that guy. And he goes, I have come to spread joy. And I'm like, you're doing great, man. You're doing the right thing. And he goes, I can see that you're a joy spreader too. So he's that kind of guy who's like, everybody is one and one is everybody. And so joy and peace and farts.
He did too much LSD and is now needs mental health or BH services and is not getting it.
Except I think it's completely natural.
Okay. So that's New York, you're saying. And no one punched him. No one was like, what the fuck are you?
No, because
People
he's
love
so
him.
disarming. He's wonderful.
When I was in a band and we played in New York, we were teenagers. We had a guy show up at the show who asked if he could sit in on drums with us. And I should mention, we were not like a jam band. We were like a hardcore punk rock band. And I was like, I don't think so. And he goes, but I'm Dan. And I was like, I don't know. He goes, Dangerous Dan the Bongo Man. And I was like, I'm not familiar with your work, Dangerous Dan the Bongo Man. And then he proceeded to tell me, he took out his bongos and while playing.
Sure, you can't introduce yourself that way and not pull out your bongos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're your own hype man. You gotta pay off that.
I mean, I feel like they always have to be out. You don't even have to pull them out. They should just be on you at all time.
I mean, just imagine. I'm Dangerous Dan the Bongo Man. Sorry, I don't have bongos.
Yeah.
Never have.
Then you'd say
Never used them. I don't even know what they are.
I used to be David Dangerous Dan the Bongo Man.
Formerly known as,
he had him. It was Chekhov's bongos. But he had him like on a strap sort of around his back, so I couldn't see him behind him. He kind of like swung him around, And then he played the bongos and proceeded to tell me about the 4 times he'd been hit by lightning.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have a photo of me and Dangerous Dan the Bongo from 1997 that maybe I'll share with the listeners to go with the story. But that's why I never moved to New York, is my point.
I mean, it's good that he explained exactly how he became Dangerous Dan.
Oh, yeah, it was an
AKA
origin.
lost his mind.
It was an origin story. 100 million volts 4 times?
That'll do it.
Yep, that'll make you play the bongos all right. Yeah.
So Florida has these people, but they punch you in the face.
Yeah.
I think that's a big difference.
And you moved there willingly.
Yeah, I did.
Why did you pick Florida?
It's Fort Lauderdale is like I guess a fairly liberal city
Comparatively.
and compared to Florida, and it's like it's a nice place. The cost of living is low, and it's like 70 degrees outside right now, so we went for a nice walk before this.
I haven't left my house in 10 months.
Yeah so that's why, because we can leave our house and like live somewhat of a life, except we don't know anybody, so I've been on Zoom this whole time.
It sounds like you don't need to. Have you seen Revenge of the Nerds 2 Nerds in Paradise starring Barry Sobel?
No. Is it as rapey as the first?
It's much less rapey, but is set in Fort Lauderdale.
Hey!
And filmed in Fort Lauderdale.
Now we're talking.
Yep, that's how it's everything I know about Fort Lauderdale is from Revenge of the Nerds Part 2 Nerds in Paradise.
Everything, like, I have family from Fort Lauderdale who lived here for a while, but I also just watched Auntie Mame.
Okay.
And in it, like her son is set to marry this, like, she talks like this. She's this kind of person. She talks about, we're going to go down to our summer home in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a thing in Auntie Mame.
Okay.
Which is a wonderful movie, by the way.
Have you run into a woman like that since you've been down there?
No, they don't let me around those women.
Well, that's why you need to get a disguise. Dan,
Yeah.
how are the women in Chicago?
They're great. I'm only looking at my girlfriend, Ken, but the women are great
I
here.
was really
By the way, how much is this as filler? Are we on live radio right
We're
now?
on live right
what
now,
are we
yeah.
talking about?
No, sorry. I'll get into the thing in a minute, but it's my show, so I can do what I want.
Yeah.
Basically, what I do is I just talk till you guys eventually hang up. Dan, I was really hoping you'd yell the phrase "deep dish pussy," and you let me down.
I'm sorry that the previous years of our relationship led you to believe that I just yell that phrase out.
If there's one person, if someone said,
Into a microphone.
"Tell me a person that you've known for almost 20 years that you haven't seen in about 10 of those, who, if you asked them what the women in Chicago were like, he would yell deep dish pussy." Who would the top
Maybe
three
I
be?
changed.
Yeah. I'd say,
I'll tell you my top three. Alvin David is right on top.
He's
there.
he's like number 1 and 2. Oh boy. But Mike, you used to live in Chicago.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. And you both, did you guys live together?
Deep dish pussy.
Yeah. It's not as fun coming from you.
Yeah, you're right.
in more ways than one.
Name three.
Physically, emotionally, and figuratively. I accept your challenge.
Yeah, that was great.
And did you guys live together when you were in New York? You moved around the same time from Boston.
You know, I lived with Dan when I broke up with a girlfriend, and I stayed on Dan's futon for 4 months.
Oh, did you pay him rent?
2 to 4 months. I don't remember. Danny Kelly's futon.
Oh, this was in Queens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I slept on that futon. And I watched Valley Girl. It must have been your DVD. I went to sleep to the commentary track of Valley Girl because me, Sean Sullivan, and Tom Dustin went down to do a Montreal audition, and we stayed down there. And I wanted to drive home after because that's what you do when you go to New York. And they were all like, "No, we want to stay." And so we stayed. And I don't even know if you knew that we stayed there. I don't think you were there.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, you must have been gone because I think Sean and Dustin slept in your bed.
Well, I'm glad I'm not there anymore.
And I've slept at Micah's house in New York, so I've gotten around.
Wait, where did you sleep at my house? In Brooklyn?
Yeah, in Brooklyn for like a week.
You did?
Yeah, I bought you a new shower curtain.
Was this
Did
this
he
at
know
my,
about that?
Yeah, at the place in the junkyard at your Fred Sanford place.
Yeah. I definitely lived. I was definitely the son of Sanford.
That was a great place.
It was an awesome place. That actually, the reason I stayed on Dan's futon for so long is I was waiting for that place to open up.
It was worth
That place was awesome. Yeah.
It was worth it. Yeah, Micah had basically a house, like a 1-bedroom house, not an apartment building, like a freestanding house behind 2 gates in like, was it a car lot or like a
It was a storage facility.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yep.
Some of the best years of my life.
Yep, and I
spent in a storage facility.
I stayed there when I did the Eugene Merman Festival because it was right down the
Oh,
street.
that's right. Yeah.
I'm glad you guys remember so much about me. I've only known
Yeah,
like
thanks
20
for the
years.
shower curtain.
Jesus Christ. It was a liner technically, but
We always got that deep dish pussy.
yeah, well, I'm the one who's been getting around, so
I was really, really uncomfortable with that.
yeah, man, I'm gonna have to cut that out, and
I think you're just jealous.
I'm just gonna have to put that out as an episode, just that one thing. I'm gonna remix that.
It's what we all want to see in the TV guide.
It's true. So speaking of the TV guide, I asked you guys what issue you wanted to do, and you picked, and I don't know if you picked this together or if one of you picked it, but it's January 1st to the 7th, 2000. It has Mr. Elvis Presley on the cover, Entertainer of the Century. And why this year?
Well, I threw it out there, and I just remember that was high school, my senior year.
Was that in Waltham? Did you grow up in the Boston?
I grew up in. Well, I didn't grow up in. I grew up in multiple states and went to high school in Allentown, Pennsylvania, or close to it, Whitehall, Pennsylvania, and that was like a year that everything was like coming together. I don't know if you guys felt this way, like with high school. I felt like I didn't know anybody for a long time. And then like all of a sudden everybody knew everybody. And finally it was like flowing. And so it was like good times. So like, I think I just wanted to get back to that time a little bit. And then also I remember seeing the pilot for Freaks and Geeks, I think, during that time. So I wasn't sure if that was going to pop up.
What would you rather say other than deep dish pussy? Like thin crust pussy?
I mean, nothing at all.
Just
nothing at all.
Just 3 syllables of silence.
I'm with that. Yeah.
Okay.
That would definitely be a lot better than deep dish pussy or thin crust cunt.
Yeah, I mean that does have the alliteration. Didn't you guys miss me? Didn't you miss seeing me all the time with my nonsense?
I miss you a lot, Ken.
Oh, thank you.
I wouldn't even call it nonsense.
It's just I spout garbage.
I lived in Boston for 3 years. Those are some really great 3 years, and I have a lot of friends, including both of you, from that time in my life. And I was actually looking through an old calendar today, and I texted Joe List because I came across the entry when he and I we had gotten free tickets to see Robin Williams perform for the first time in years after he was out of rehab. And the Comedy Connection put us on the front row of the show. And he spent the entire time talking to us, and it was very uncomfortable.
But that's great. Like, how many people have that experience?
I have addressed Robin Williams directly, I can say.
Did he yell deep dish pussy?
Only like 7 times.
Because if he heard me yell it, he would definitely yell that back the next time he saw
it. It was 100% out of context too, and it was really uncomfortable.
So you only lived in Boston for 3 years?
Yeah.
Dan, how long were you in Boston?
I was in Waltham for 4 at college, and then 3 years in Cambridge.
Jesus. I feel like it was a lot longer than that. So I haven't seen you guys in person for longer than you lived here.
Yeah, a lot longer. Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, I was coming back to Boston a lot, even when I was living in New York. Maybe that's why you get that impression.
Oh, because you stayed at my house. You didn't.
Ken, I've never been to your home, and it looks incredible.
You're welcome.
It's a great background.
You guys are welcome. We the weirdest thing is we specifically bought a house with an extra bedroom because we figured we'd have a lot of comedian friends coming through town that would need a place to stay, and then almost nobody stayed here.
You have to invite people to stay at your house in order for them to stay there.
What are they, vampires?
Comedians? Yeah. Pretty much.
Mike Kaplan has stayed here several times, and then a few other people here and there, but it really didn't get utilized too much. But
I feel like we've seen each other more recently. Well, haven't we?
You and I did an Instagram live at the beginning of the pandemics.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
But then when was the last time I saw you before that? I don't know. Last time I was in New York, probably?
Yeah.
But that was like 3 years ago. So
time really is, I mean, like I'm pushing 40 now, and time really, like, to think back, like as I was going through the TV Guide week that we were looking at, I was like, man, a lot of this stuff feels really formative to me, and time moved a lot slower back then. Like I look up and the week is done these days.
Well, we had more sort of notable events. Like to Dan's point, around the year 2000, we were sort of late teens, early 20s, I think. And everything seems like a big deal. You're doing a lot of things for the first time. You're feeling a little bit more like an adult. And that stuff is formative and also feels like a place marker, you know? And every year seems like a new thing. Whereas now I think we only judge our progress in like decades.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I haven't made that much progress since January 1st to 7th, 2000.
I would say you're bigger.
Yeah, I'm a little bit heavier.
No, I meant taller. You're at least 6 inches taller.
Oh, no.
You were 5'2".
I've been this tall since... Huh?
You were 5'2".
I was 5'2" when I was like 11.
I remember one of the first times I saw Micah perform, it was at MIT, and he was wearing a rainbow clown wig, and he was doing an act about farts and John Benet Ramsey.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that morphed into a character called Fart Clown Lawyer.
Okay, of course.
And the whole thing was that this guy would wear numerous clown wigs as he was doing his closing arguments in a murder trial.
Of course. Of course.
just to distract them from the fact that his client was guilty.
Of course.
And he'd remove them as he's making points.
That's very SCTV, and I love it.
Yeah.
Dan, how long did you do stand-up? Because you
About 11 years.
Okay, so it was longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Because then you quit and moved into animation, right?
Yeah, I've been doing animation, doing some film production stuff. Off stage. So yeah, it's been fun.
You smartened up a lot longer, a lot sooner than we all did.
Yeah, I got way depressed to a way heavier degree than everybody else, and hit rock bottom. And then I was like, oh, let's not do this anymore.
Let's animate.
So
which makes sense. So let's dive in. I will keep you guys here all night otherwise, and I know that you have girlfriends that have taken you away to faraway states that are clearly in charge of you now. So I don't want to take up your whole night.
It's not off.
So we picked this, and you picked this because you thought Freaks and Geeks might be on this year, but it was on 2000. It did premiere that year, but it premiered in September of 2000 and was over by January. So we're a little bit too early, about a year or 6 months too early for Freaks and Geeks, sadly.
That's weird. I don't know what happened in my memory then. Maybe they were re-airing it or something. I don't know.
It's possible. It was not a mid-season replacement. It was a September show. One thing that I did notice here is they've done a whole article about all the characters from .com ads in the year 2000. And I had forgotten about like the pets.com sock puppet dog.
Oh my goodness. I remember that.
Yep. And Stewart, who was the office kind of jerk, but he was played by my friend Mike Morona, also known as Big Pete from The Adventures of Pete and Pete, who's been on this show.
Oh, wow.
So I'll have to send Mike that article. Pets.com, it's a longer story, but basically businesses have tax ID numbers that are sort of like a business's social security number. And when they don't do it anymore, but when they would go out of business, they'd print those in the paper. And usually the number would still be active for like a couple weeks. So you could put liens on people's accounts and houses saying you're from that company, and then it would go on their credit report. I'm not saying...
Is there a statute of limitations with this?
I'm not saying I did that. But
you just did.
Say I was just...
You said I use pets.com to commit fraud against people.
I think I said...
I think your exact words.
I think I said I could have in theory done that.
You didn't, though.
You know, like if I had said I'm from pets.com and Micah Sherman owes us $80,000, they'd put that on your credit report, and then pets.com's out of business. You can't really do anything about it, and it's a huge nightmare for years. If I were to do something like that.
Well, you didn't even gain anything from it? You'd gain
the satisfaction of knowing that in 10 years they couldn't buy a car or a house.
Jesus, Ken, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Well, some people deserve bad things, Micah.
Oh, you did it to people that you knew.
Of course.
I was going to say, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine then.
That's great.
I thought it was just like you flip through the phone book. And,
no.
Yeah.
This was a pure revenge thing in theory.
Yeah, like you're the sniper from The Jerk.
Yeah, exactly. I hate those cans. Because the other thing, like the more low rent version people used to do in theory, just random people, hypothetical people, not me, that I did, was we'd get the want ads, the printed want ads thing that came out once a week. And you'd put, like, I'd say, I put a picture of a Trans Am in there, and I'd be like, 82 Trans Am, Cherry, 20,000 miles, asking $2,500 or best offer, have to pay court costs. Call anytime. And then I'd put your phone number in there. And they'd print up copies, and copies would be out there for a week. So there was nothing you could do about it for a week, as basically thousands of Florida men would call you at all hours wanting to buy this Trans Am for $2,500. And when you told them you didn't have it, they'd think you were lying or didn't want to sell it to them.
Wait, so what kinds of people in your life are you doing this to?
Oh, assholes.
But what does asshole mean? What did they do to you?
Geez, I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
What's wrong with you?
I also like how you said it's the low rent version of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like the low rent version of it is just like calling someone and saying, "Hey, do you have Prince Albert in a can?" and then hanging up. It's not having 5,000 people calling them regularly and ruining their lives.
It's not taking an accounting course and then only committing fraud with with it.
You're like the Wolf of Wall Street of
Well,
Of nothing. You gain nothing from it.
well, guys, someday I'll tell you about how in the 2000s, before everything became digitized, you could bribe a doctor in Haiti to make a death certificate out for somebody and have them declared legally dead so that they had no access to any money or anything. And if they tried to use their name, they got accused of identity thefts.
Man, it was weird when we went from analog to digital, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things that people were like, yeah, we just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
We have no legal recourse for this. And even if we did, there'd be no way to follow up because there's no paper trail anymore and we deal 100% in paper. So,
But it was that transition period that happened. Like before that, they had it on paper. Now they know how to track stuff. But there was a good 10 years when, oh boy,
Yeah.
if you wanted to really screw some stuff up, you could do it.
and 2000 was definitely that sweet spot, right?
Oh yeah, because this January 2000, this was Y2K.
That's right.
So when someone bought this issue of TV Guide, they didn't know if they would make it to this week to watch the shows because people thought Y2K, all the planes would fall out of the skies and our toasters would kill us.
Did
you guys think that?
interesting?
I didn't. My dad did. My dad had a go bag and he bought a mobile home in case he, quote, needed to go mobile. And I didn't.
Did he sell it in like 2000
Yeah,
day,
$2,500
whatever?
he had to pay court costs. No, New Year's Eve, 1999, 12/31/99. I was at the Middle East in Cambridge downstairs at a Man or Astro Man show, and we all did the countdown. And then I am very skeptical, but I will say when I walked up the stairs after the show at the Middle East, it was very quiet in Central Square, and like for a moment, I was like, maybe it happened, but then it didn't. So it was fine.
Maybe it did happen and we just have no
This is an alternate universe.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys were in a purgatory like hell, this is what it would be like for you.
Was there any evidence that anything at all happened anywhere? Like, clearly society didn't break down, but nothing happened, right?
No, anything that would have been affected, they had plans to update the stuff, and everyone had like a Y2K readiness thing. It was nothing. It was nothing. But people hyped it up, and we were all scared about the year 2000, and nothing happened. But we did have some excellent television.
Nice transition.
I don't know if you guys know, I've done about 500 of these. So why don't we jump in? Let's go Saturday night. All right.
Well, let's talk more about something else.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we do.
Do you always admit to your crimes every episode?
I didn't admit to any crimes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
People can just rewind. You know that, Ken, right?
No, this you guys don't do self-destructing podcasts?
I mean, I admitted to spreading COVID everywhere, but
That's true. That's true. No, all the people who I may or may not have gotten some sort of revenge on are since deceased, which is a different story.
Is it, though? Is it a different story, or is it all part of the same story? Did you murder somebody?
I've never murdered anyone. I'll say that.
Are you the cause of someone's death?
It's semantics that might be different. Anyway, so there's a thing about Elvis in here. There's a thing about Danny Partridge in here, Charisma Carpenter, all the stars of the year 2000. And because I always mention it, I know Micah smokes cigarettes. Dan, did you ever smoke cigarettes?
I never smoked cigarettes.
Good man.
Thanks.
TV Guide always has cigarette ads, and they're always for brands I've never heard of. But one in the 2000s was a brand called Basic. Have you ever heard of it?
Yep, I know Basic. Yep.
Was it just...
Listen, man, you can quiz me on any cigarette brands. I'm pretty sure I knew. That's when I was... Oh, no, I wasn't smoking then. I started smoking pretty consistently in 2003.
Did something trigger that?
I left college.
Getting a lot of phone calls about your trans out.
Had nothing to live for.
Basic I had never heard of in their ads. So I guess Basic's whole premise was like really cheap cigarettes.
Yeah, they're the PBR. I would say they're the Schlitz malt liquor of cigarettes.
Okay. And this ad is like, because it's January, there's some people who've clearly had some hot cocoa, I guess. And it just says, the best things in life are basic.
Yeah, that doesn't fly anymore, does it?
No. And I actually don't think that's true either. At all. Because that sounds insane.
Yeah, I mean, the best things in life are free.
Which also isn't true.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so. What's free? That's one of the best things. Hugs?
Air.
Is it free?
Love?
Love ain't free. Love makes you move to a different state.
Oh,
I was
people's worldviews are really coming through here.
I was a part of that decision.
Were you?
Yeah.
I know. I'm just busting your balls.
Well, they hurt, Ken.
Yeah.
They hurt a lot.
Yeah, we'll pick them up off the ground and crazy glue them together because they're gonna be busted again.
What?
This is what happens.
You know, Flea used to do that on those long Red Hot Chili Pepper concerts. Like he would play the bass like so much that his balls would fall off and he'd have to super glue them together.
Yeah, that's what the lyric bing dang dong bong ding dang dong dong ding dang.
Yeah, that's true.
In that Red Hot Chili Pepper song is about.
You guys do know that story about Flea and the super glue, though, right?
He sat on Mr. Belvedere's balls.
No, he used to play bass so hard that like he would basically like he'd slap it so hard that his fingers would start bleeding and it'd get down to the bone.
Yeah.
And he would put super glue in the hole and just keep going.
Yeah, a friend of mine used to be his roommate in the early days, and he was like, I would go to bed, and by roommate they lived in the same room.
Oh.
And he's like, this was in the early 80s, and he's like, I would go to bed and he would be just playing his bass, and I would wake up and he'd be playing his bass, but there'd be blood everywhere.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, but that's what bing dang dong dong ding dang dong dong ding dang. A song that was a hit song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, by the way. They made a lot of money off that song, and that was the lyric. And
right about the year 2000, right?
Right about the year 2000.
I saw some great Chili Pepper shows in the year 2000. I saw them. Yeah, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay. Sorry, I should have specified.
Yeah.
What were the Scoville units?
I saw some pretty bad deep blue Chili Peppers. You
guys want to start a Red Hot Chili Peppers
why did
cover?
I pay this?
Let's have a cover band called Scoville Units. So you were a Chili head.
I was a huge Chili head. I saw them with 200 other people. That's
that
it.
The name
it
of
was
the band?
Great. It was they were opening, just yelling.
What was the venue?
It was in Philly. I forget the name. I don't know if you guys know Philly
Pontiac
venues.
Grill?
Sure, let's say that it was there. Sure.
Down on South Street.
200 Other People is a great 10,000 Maniacs cover band.
It truly is. It truly is. Guys, we're going to see 200 other people in Scoville units. It's going to be great. I forgot how many notable people died in 1999. There's a little tribute thing in here, but it's like Madeline Kahn, George C. Scott, who was a piece of shit.
Jeez.
Huge piece of shit.
I feel like you're ruining my view of all these famous people.
You can't just say that about a dead person and not explain yourself.
Well, if people have listened to this show, they've heard all the George C. Scott stories. There was a point on this show when a guest would sit down and I had to go, what horrible thing did George C. Scott do to you, as the first question, because it was just so many stories about horrible things he did to people. Just a mean drunk. Joe DiMaggio died that year. DeForest Kelley, who was Bones on Star Trek. Wilt Chamberlain. Alan Funtz. Stanley Kubrick. Mel Torme. This was like big names.
Wow.
Walter Payton. Dusty Springfield. Rory Calhoun. Fine old Hollywood actor who used to be in a lot of Westerns. And then they get lower. Oliver Reed, one of the great Hollywood drunks. Iron Eyes Cody, who was an Italian who feloniously pretended to be an American Indian when he was just some Goomba, and he was the guy in that commercial where they throw garbage and he cries. Total fraud.
That guy was Italian?
He was some Italian dude, and he pretended to be a Native American, and he called himself Iron Eyes Cody.
Wow.
Made a career out of it.
That's what he's famous for?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
They say about him, they go, Iron Eyes Cody. Although he appeared in more than 80 Western movies and a TV series such as Bonanza and Rawhide, Cody was best known as a Native American mourning the effects of pollution in the Keep America Beautiful ad campaign. Yeah, and then when he died, people were like, wait a minute, this guy's from freaking Brooklyn.
But he did it for a good cause. I would say I was Native American if I could stop littering.
Yeah, and look what it did. Remember when littering stopped?
Yo, I was actually thinking about that. Littering... There is a lot less littering these days.
There is, but there's still
a lot.
If you have a dog, you know that there's a lot of littering going on.
There is. Yeah. I see people do it. Like I was out walking my dog and I saw a guy just dump like some fast food stuff out of his window. And so I had a bag of dog shit and I like swung it around like a bolo and I threw it. I got it right in the window. It was great.
Yeah. So here's a little story about Fort Lauderdale, right? Heather, my fiance, is on Nextdoor. Do you know what that is? The app where you talk with people that are close by in your neighborhood?
Yeah, it's so scared white people can talk about black people.
And there's been a lot of that in Florida. I'll tell you one thing. The other thing is somebody put on, hey, would you folks with dogs, would you please not deposit your dog shit in my recycling bin? Could you just put it in the trash bin? That's fine. Just don't put it in the recycling bin. And the responses were, that's out of your jurisdiction.
Yeah. Like mine, stay in your lane, shithead. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was just a request. I understand I am not Dr. Recyclable, but just please, because I have to clean it out. And people are like, nope. Gonna keep doing it. Gonna search out a blue one and put it right in there.
They don't even put it in a baggie. They just put it in there raw. They raw dog put that shit in there.
I don't know the specifics of it.
Man, you gotta wrap.
I guess it's biodegradable, so it's kind of recyclable.
Someone used to have a bit about that where, like, we wrap. It might have been Joe Wong. We put dog shit in bags that aren't biodegradable, so it'll be the only thing left, and aliens will come down and think that we really thought this stuff was precious and wanted to keep it forever. Do you remember that?
Oh, wow. That does sound like Joe Wong.
Yeah, I think it was Joe Wong.
Have you seen Joe Wong in a while?
Yeah, I had Joe on the show a couple years back. I talk to Joe every now and then.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really like that guy.
Joe,
Very nice.
Joe was hosting literally the highest rated television show in the world. He had a nightly talk show in China that was, and this is real, was basically like a cross between The Tonight Show and America's Most Wanted. And he hosted it. And then he also hosted their big, he was their equivalent of Dick Clark. Like, he would host their big Chinese New Year celebration thing on TVB.
Holy shit.
On the big Chinese network.
Was his show, were his guests like people that were most wanted or detectives or?
It wasn't even that integrated. It would be like a talk show, like his talk show. And then they would have here, this man's wanted. And then it would be like a segment, like America's Most Wanted type segment.
I'm sorry. I don't know that much about Chinese culture, and I'm not 100% on how Chinese government is structured, but that sounds very Chinese.
Yeah. It made sense when he described it to me. Yeah. But Joe, he was doing well. He's back in the States. I think he's living in San Francisco. He was working with Andrew Yang when he was running for president.
Oh, great.
So good for him. So a lot of people died that year. Dana Plato killed herself that year, trying to keep it light here. And of course, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me came out.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It did in 99, right?
Yeah. Do you think it's better than the original?
I don't know. They all go together to me.
There's only two, right?
There's three.
No, there's
Beyonce.
three. The one with Beyonce, yeah.
Oh, I refuse to see that.
Because you hate.
Britney Spears is in it too.
I just never saw it. So
it's a big Pepsi ad. They made a joke about it being sponsored by Pepsi, but it's a Pepsi ad.
What isn't? What wasn't then? You kidding me?
Well, I know the BLM protests are.
They're a big Pepsi ad. So let's jump in. Saturday night, 8:00. I do want to mention that
By the way, I can't just leave that out. That was a Kardashian thing. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
She did it. The youngest Kardashian, was it? I don't know. Kylie
Jenner, is that right?
I think so. She gave them a Pepsi and then everything was fine.
Oh God, that was so uncomfortable.
It was real bad.
Oh boy, you don't know what's happening.
It truly is. Someone could probably have her declared dead. I'm not telling you to do that or how to do that.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. It'd probably be hard to do that now, actually. She's a little too high profile.
Give her a poisoned Pepsi.
Well, you wouldn't kill her. She would just be dead on paper, which is worse because.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway,
I thought you were advocating murder.
No. I never.
Don't do that.
But QVC that week is premiering a whole bunch of new hosts on QVC, and they've bought full-page ads about them, including their new host, Bob Bowersocks.
Bob Bowersocks?
Yep. He's New Year, New You weekend, all weekend long. Start the year with a weekend of self-start program, including cooking and health shows with Bob Bowersocks.
Oh, that's the best name.
Yeah.
Bowersocks?
Bowersocks. Yeah.
Socks?
Yeah. I think that's what people with the Bowersocks. Isn't that his team?
I don't think so, Tim.
When the people say Bowersocks. Anyway, let's do it. Saturday, 8:00. What are you doing, Dan?
So many movies I wanted to watch. I realized I used to just watch movies instead of TV, so I'm probably not great for this. But
you're watching movies on TV.
Yeah, Truman Show, Enemy of the State, Jurassic Park, Nutty Professor, any of those.
You gonna flip around through those?
I don't know. Yeah, probably depending on my mood.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Truman Show. I'd probably settle on eventually.
Micah, what'd you do?
I'm watching The Bodyguard the whole way through.
Oh, I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
I haven't either.
Oh man, we should do another podcast where we just watch The Bodyguard.
I think that's.
This is actually a fun idea. We should all watch The Bodyguard and then come back and do a TV guidance counselor that's just a review of The Bodyguard.
Yes.
Bonus ep. Oh, I thought you were going to do like a live podcast while we're watching it.
Live Bodyguard. We'll figure it out.
Oh, this is a good moment. Yeah. Oh, this is a good moment. Kind of thing.
We'll Bodyguard it. I would have been torn between Breaking the Magician's Code 3, which was this douchebag magician, like hacky magician, who wore a mask and went on Fox and showed everybody how magicians did all their tricks, and did 4 of these specials, and everybody hated him. It would be like, think of the worst. I won't name them, but you'll all probably have someone in your mind. Think of the worst hacky comic that we did comedy with in Boston. They're the guy that goes on Fox and gets his own show about how you did all your jokes.
And then they do all of our jokes, right? He's not doing his own jokes, basically. Yeah.
No. And he's telling them, how they are and really.
What a trash thing to do to other magicians. That's dirty. That's snitching.
Yeah.
That's the number one rule, isn't it? Against magicians.
If you think about it, you're also ruining their financial cash cow. You've literally taken away their livelihood.
Yeah, you're ruining children's lives.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of kids died because of the unknown math magician. There were at least 30 that I know of.
Didn't Penn Jillette do something like that too?
No, Penn and Teller used to do a really funny thing, and they still do this now. Well, they'll do a trick and then they'll tell you how they did the trick, but them telling you how they did it is not how they did it.
Right.
It just confuses the audience more.
They had a show. They had a show where they had magicians on, and they were fool us, right?
It's great.
It's a cool show, but they don't 100% give away the trick.
They never do.
Does this have something to do with this? And the magician will be like, yeah, and they're like, okay, then I know how you did it.
And then they're like, you do. And they'll have all these weird code words where they're like, but they'll be very positive too. They'll be like, this is a great trick. It was one of the best versions of this I've ever seen. But what I'm going to say to you is the metallic Kit Kat. And then the person will be like, yeah.
Yeah. I love it, but it's so cool. It's so cool when a magician fools them.
Oh, yeah. And they love it too.
I honestly have no idea how you did this, and that's great.
Did you see the episode with the blind card guy?
No.
So this guy's completely blind, and he does card magic. And he actually doesn't do magic. He's just really good with cards. And there's a whole documentary about him that's called Dealt, which I highly recommend. But he went on Fool Us, and he's like, I'm not going to do any magic. And he told them exactly what he was going to do, what kind of shuffle, what kind of thing, and how he would force the card. And he did it. And then Teller was like, I don't know how you did that. He's like, regardless of the fact that you're completely blind also, I've never seen, I have no, and he won the whole show. It was great. Guy's amazing.
Is it that he's just counting cards in his head as they're shuffling by?
You should see the documentary. He literally all day, every day, opens packs of cards and is working them all day. I don't know. It's just practice, crazy practice, which I do not have the fortitude to do. So we all pick different things. That's interesting. Different people.
I chose The Bodyguard because of the song.
Yeah.
And that it's like Whitney's first movie. And
last movie.
That was like when she was in her prime, and I sang that song, I Will Always Love You, the Whitney version, in chorus in 7th grade. And I refused, even though I was a bass in 7th grade, I refused to sing the bass line because it was the harmony. I was like, I am going to kick it in falsetto with the sopranos and do all the Whitney parts.
Dan, what did you sing in 7th grade?
I sang Happy Birthday.
Okay.
And
To
The
yourself?
Stevie Wonder version?
both versions. And a little song called Deep Dish Pussy.
Nice. Yep. And you had a big hit
Please.
with that.
God.
Yeah. I had the cassingle of that with the instrumental on the B-side so I could rap over it myself.
Yeah, some of the worst bars I've ever heard is you freestyling over the instrumental of that song.
Well, I was just learning. And I also had the the edited version where the song was called DDP. And, it just wasn't the same.
You know me.
Yep, it wasn't the same. They ripped me off for that. Don't get me started on Whoop, There It Is. Sunday night, what'd you guys do? Micah?
Let's see what I got here. I am from 8 to 9. I'm watching 2 episodes of The Simpsons,
Okay.
and then 9 to 10. I'm catching the X-Files episode.
Were you a big X-Files guy?
Big X-Files guy, yeah, back in the day. I actually didn't watch a lot of The Simpsons as a kid, but X-Files I was all about.
Have you rewatched it at all?
Not really. Is it not good?
It's good. It's good.
It's a little TV drama-ish, right? It's a little Law and Order-esque.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, the highs are great. The lows are fairly low, but the highs are worth it.
It's essentially a procedural, right?
Yeah, for the most part, unless they're doing like a mythology episode.
What was the mythology episode?
So that was the stuff about the conspiracy, or like Mulder's sister being kidnapped by aliens, and
I was like
man.
less interested in that. Like
Yeah.
I was less interested in the personal stuff. I was just like, get right down to like an episode of Law and Order. I'm like, okay, let's see the body. Terrific. All right, let's do the let's find the perp. And there you go. And now let's take it to the courtroom. And well done, everyone. I felt the same way about all right. And there is a call from Area 51. Okie doke. And there is Seth Green. Good. And now you send him to prison. Hey, way to go.
There's a comfort in that, which I think is why people love shows like Law and Order and those things, because they know exactly, how it's going to end and where it's going to go, which I think is comforting. Dan, were you an X-Files head?
I was never an X-Files head, but they had a lot of big writers for them, didn't they? Like, I think Vince Gilligan wrote for them.
Yep, Vince Gilligan started
Breaking
on the
Bad.
X-Files, correct. As well as, what's his name? The guys that did the Final Destination movies. They started on the X-Files, whose names I cannot remember. I can't think of anyone else who it would be.
It's weird that you can't remember the writers of the Final Destination movies.
Well, they were huge. Because they also produced I don't want to say Walking Dead, but something else.
Oh, okay.
Jeffrey Reddick?
No, it's like James Wong or someone like that. James.
Oh, yeah. James Wong and Glenn Morgan.
Yes, there you are. They looked it up on their computers, everybody. I sold them out. What did you pick, Dan?
I also started with The Simpsons. I was a big Simpsons fan growing up.
2000, not the best year of The Simpsons.
I can't remember, if it had lost its edge at that point for me. I remember Family Guy was getting big for me around that time, but I was still watching The Simpsons.
Family Guy had just come out in 99, right?
Yeah. And it seemed so, not subversive, but like you're like, holy shit. This is some next level stuff.
Definitely.
It made you feel like, oh, well, The Simpsons is for pussies. You know what I mean? But that was
definitely.
like kind of the attitude it had.
Simpsons is like good, wholesome family fun, and then Family Guy is like, this is the edgy stuff that my mom can't hear me watch.
I was just always amazed by the sort of deep cut New England stuff they would have in it.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
like the deep like references and stuff. You're saying,
where I'm like, they put this on a national television show. This part makes zero sense to anyone. Like a post-apocalyptic Caldor. That is not. That's funny to like 1% of the people watching this.
I feel like though that's what those shows do. Though they have so many jokes in them that like. I don't know. I watched The Simpsons. I probably didn't understand 80% of the jokes when I first saw those episodes.
Do you guys rewatch those at all?
I haven't rewatched it lately. I think the last time I watched was in college, and I thought it was so funny. I don't know why I haven't like rewatched it much.
I caught an episode on a plane when I was jet setting around the world doing stuff, and it was a new episode, and it was funny, but it weirded me out because they all had cell phones, and it freaked me out. Because it was like watching a show from when you were a kid that they've like CG'd modern technology into, even though it's a contemporary show and obviously they have cell phones. But it just it really bothered me for way longer than it should have.
Well, I mean, they haven't gotten older, right?
No.
And they haven't changed in any other way. So I can see why that would freak you out.
You want to hear something scary? You guys want to see a body? No. When
I wouldn't put it past you after the rest of this podcast.
When The Simpsons started, I was Bart's age, and now I'm older than Homer.
It's been on for a long time. I
crazy.
feel like with The Simpsons, like I've enjoyed The Simpsons when I've watched it, but it's almost like I don't want to open that door again because it would be so much of a commitment to watch it.
So you'd watch all of it. You're like, if I started,
I gotta watch all of it. I gotta watch all of it now. Yeah.
I think.
Oh, I never got the sense. I was like, I gotta see what happens next at the end of the episode.
Oh, that's because that's not what happens with The Simpsons.
It's not serialized. No.
Yeah. What happens next? Another episode happens next.
Homer's still dumb.
You can't watch a season 4 episode, then watch a season 7. It's totally going to blow the whole thing.
I know.
Yeah,
I wonder if they get divorced.
They do. Spoilers. They do. Monday, what'd you guys do? Let's start with Dan.
Larry Sanders. I never really took advantage of that show when I was out, and I still haven't seen a whole lot of episodes, but I know everyone says it's amazing.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it when it was on. I loved its Gary Shandling show, which was great, and I just couldn't get into Larry Sanders.
Hey now,
I need to go back and speaking of me scaring people, when I did Aspen in 2006, Jeffrey Tambor was there, and we're at like a party or something with him, and it started snowing out, and I was like, oh no, it's snowing. This is going to turn into The Shining. And I was kidding, but I forgot that I don't know Jeffrey Tambor, and he doesn't know me, and he looked really scared. And then I found out
hilarious.
He was a dickhead later, so I didn't feel bad about it.
I was just going to ask if you had any Jeffrey Tambor dickhead stories.
Yeah,
so.
Most people ask me. That's the first thing they say. You got any of them JTDs?
I really like the Larry Sanders show.
Should we rewatch it?
It's got. I've watched the whole thing. I think it's worth watching. Great actors in it. Bob Odenkirk and Janine Garofalo. Like it's really. I would watch it.
Okay.
I would watch. Just watch the first episode. Just watch the pilot.
Judd Apatow worked on it. There was a lot of people that we know and love this day. So I would not have gone with that. Anything else you had, Dan?
Was Ladies Man, was that a show based off of the SNL character?
It was a movie based off the SNL character.
Okay, that I knew about.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they made, because I kept seeing it pop up, and I was like, I can't tell if this is a show or not.
Oh, Ladies Man, let me see. What time is it on? Monday night?
8:30.
UPN show. Where am I here? Ladies Man. No, it's a sitcom. It's a sitcom with Alfred Molina and Sharon Lawrence. And it was, I remember this now. It's sort of King of Queens, but with Alfred Molina playing an American guy, it was not good. It was not a good show, and it had a good cast, and it was not good. It was not good. Micah, what'd you do?
So from 8 to 9, I'm watching 2020.
The only show my parents didn't allow me to watch.
Really? Mm-hmm. Why?
because I used to watch it every Friday night, and I was terrified of everything on it. So I was like, you can't use an ATM, someone will rob you, lap seatbelts will break your back, the Moonies are going to get you in their cult with furry fishing, there's going to be medical weight, like all that stuff. And I think my parents were just like, shut the fuck up. You can't watch the show anymore.
That was like one of the only shows I was allowed to watch as a kid. Love Barbara Walters. Love Hugh Downs.
Yeah.
Love John Stossel.
He was great on it. His segments were always my favorite because they had a weird comedy edge.
Yeah, they did. It was a very sort of like
Sexy.
Who am I thinking of? Who's the columnist who wrote books? Dave Barry.
Oh yeah, sort
It's
of.
a very Dave Barry style of like nothingness comedy, you know, like there's not a lot of there, but like it's sort of a take.
Yeah. And he had a Geraldo. He was like a store brand Geraldo.
Right.
He looked like Geraldo, like you asked your parents for Geraldo for Christmas and then they bought you John Stossel.
Yeah, that's a really great description, right? Because Geraldo had his own show. He was known for he had a perspective, you know, bad as it was. But yeah, what's John Stossel up to these days?
Still around. I think he does stuff on like CNBC or something.
Yeah,
have you ever
John
seen the footage of
Stossel.
him getting knocked out by the wrestler?
No.
So he's interviewing, I forget who the wrestler is, but he's like, you know, what do you say to people who say this is fake? And the guy clocks him and he's like, you still think this is fake? And John Stossel's like, oh.
He knocks him out?
Knocks him out. There's another great thing where, oh my God, who's the stand-up comic that was in Homicide?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
With the sunglasses and the...
Yeah, he's in Law and Order now, right?
Yeah, Law and Order, that's what I'm saying. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? Everybody knows it.
Belzer.
Richard
Richard Belzer.
Yeah, he was in Groove Tube.
Yes, I love the Groove Tube.
It's the best,
it's
right?
Great. It's great.
One of the rare sketch comedy movies.
I have a Groove Tube original movie poster back here somewhere.
Dope.
It's great with the gorilla with the TV head. But Richard Belzer used to have his own talk show, the Richard Belzer Show, and Hulk Hogan was on it, and he didn't like the fact that Belzer had been saying wrestling was fake. So he gets Belzer in a headlock and almost broke his neck. And Belzer sued over it. And it's not a bit. It's 100% real. And the footage is online. And you can see he puts Belzer in this headlock and Belzer goes immediately limp. Like he's dead. Like he basically murders him on camera. And he was fucked up. And it's kind of great because Belzer sort of deserved it. Like he was being a real asshole.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
So John Stossel's a real libertarian these days,
That makes
writing
sense.
columns for Newsmax and such. So
Just like Sean
he's
Spicer.
taken a bit of a Geraldo approach towards. He's basically the store brand Geraldo.
Yep.
Like if Geraldo has connections to the White House, John Stossel would like to have connections to the White House.
He'll get on a tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh,
yeah, he
man.
might raid the Capitol.
He might get a discount at the gift shop for someone
Yeah.
to recognize. Tuesday, what'd you do? Start with Micah.
Oh, I should say too that I'm watching Monday Night Football.
Yeah, we're not going to.
After 2020. I know. I'm watching sports a lot.
Was 2000 the year that Dennis Miller was an anchor on Monday Night Football?
Oh, good question.
Because I think it was before he went nuts after 9/11.
Yeah, I should say this. I'm not watching a lot of football these days, but back in the day, I didn't know any better, so I was like, oh, sports on TV?
Who's your
I
favorite?
guess I should watch football.
Who's your favorite football player? Dan Hirshon.
Joe Namath. That was the first one that came to mind. I don't really have a famous
Do you remember
favorite
that
one.
the footage when he was trying to kiss the sideline reporter? He was really drunk. There's this
No.
woman reporting for like ESPN. He just comes out and he goes, I want to kiss you. I'm going to kiss you. And she's like, yeah. How about you, Micah?
Michael Vick.
Oh, yeah. You love dog murder.
I mean, I'm serious. I do like Michael Vick. I think he's great. He's also
player?
like, he's a great player. And I also appreciate that, like, he made a mistake, admitted he made a mistake, paid his debt to society, reformed himself, and now he's like a football commentator.
To be fair, he was forced to admit he made a mistake.
I think he genuinely believes that he did make a mistake.
Well, he did have to go to jail. to believe that.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what it takes.
Well, I'm going to go with either Refrigerator Perry or Brian Bosworth. So let's go on to Tuesday night here. What'd you do, Micah?
Tuesday night, I am 8:00. I'm watching Just Shoot Me.
David Spade's fine work on Just Shoot Me.
Yep. This is sitcom night for me. So 8:30, I'm watching Third Rock from the Sun. Classic.
Never got into it.
I watched a lot of it. It's a remarkable premise for a show.
It is a great
in
premise.
the 90s.
This episode features a guest appearance by David Hasselhoff.
So I'm definitely sticking around for 8:30. By the way, I used to watch a lot of Baywatch too as a kid.
All the time, me.
I think because it was on Sunday nights. I was allowed to watch TV on Sunday nights. It came on right after Life Goes On, which I was also allowed to watch.
Oh,
I've had an enormous amount of cast members from Baywatch on this show.
Is that right?
Is it the most watched TV show?
It
Did
was
I make
at the
that
time.
up?
It was at the time. Yeah, it was the biggest show in the world. Yes, yeah. I don't mean to brag, but I'm friends with quite a few Baywatch cast members.
I really like that Life Goes On dealt with certain things like AIDS, like head on, and they also they did have a main character, a star on the show with Down syndrome. But that character's name was Corky, and I feel like they didn't do a real service.
Well, that became
anybody.
shorthand for years because of that show.
Right. Like, I think they would have been a lot better if his name was like Michael or something.
But then they still would have called him Corky.
There's a lot of... Don't you dare! All right, so not...
Do you remember that episode of Life Goes On where he put out a rap album and it was called... He has put out an album. His name's Chris something. What was that kid's name? Chris... Anyway, the kid from Life Goes On put out an album, and you can look it up. Is there anything else, Micah?
Yeah, there's two more. I'm watching... oh, man. Okay, so I'm watching Will and Grace at 9.
A show I've never seen.
Oh, you've never seen Will and Grace?
No.
It's quite good.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it is good. And like, groundbreaking for the time, particularly, late 90s into the early 2000s. And then 9:30, I'm watching a show called Veronica's Closet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about this? What are we doing with this?
So this show starred Kirstie Alley.
Right.
Known crazy Scientologist, Kirstie Alley. And she was playing the owner of a Victoria's Secret type company called Veronica's Closet.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever see it?
It's not good. I have. I used to get it confused with Just Shoot Me, Caroline in the City, and Suddenly Susan. All those shows were sort of the same thing in my brain.
It especially sounds like Just Shoot Me. Weren't they both at like magazines and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like,
it was like they were all workplace kind of sitcoms, and they had the similar. Yeah, I don't know if I could tell them apart to this day.
Chris Burke is the actor who played Corky.
He put out an album with these two folk artists who look like Ben and Jerry from Ben and Jerry's, and they made a bunch of music videos, and they're great. What'd you do, Dan?
Hold on, I'm looking these up now.
You're looking up Chris Burke music video?
Yes. I started with Mrs. Doubtfire, speaking of Robin Williams.
Okay.
But I never got a chance to see Buffy or Angel, and I feel like a lot of people talk about those shows, and Mike Kaplan being one of them, I think. So I've heard good things, but I never watched them. So
there's a couple styles of show around this time that I really could not get with. One of them is anime. I have friends who swear by anime. They watch a lot of anime. The other one is this sort of dark, like Angel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What's the one with Caroline Ray about witches?
That wasn't dark. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah, super dark.
They've done a dark reboot of it, but it wasn't
Bewitched, dark stuff.
Like
Casper.
I watched a season of the one that takes place the vampire movie the show that takes place in the bayou. What's it called? True Blood.
Yes.
And that was enough for me, man. Like when people started turning into wolves and stuff, I'm like, what is even happening?
So you like X-Files, but you don't like other monsters.
Yes, because in X-Files, it was like, is this really happening? We don't really know. There's some mystery there. Whereas like, I just watched. Okay, it's one thing if you watch a dude turn into a wolf and you're like, okay, werewolves are real. But then there's like vampires in addition to people that can go invisible. And I'm like, I can't. Like, what are the stakes here? What the hell's going on?
2 questions. One, have you ever seen a man turn into a wolf? Or are you just talking about in movies?
We're talking about in movies,
Okay,
right?
all right.
I'm like, in the movies, when it happens in the movies, I'm like, this is nothing like when I see it in real life.
But you want a world that only...
It looks so much more painful in real
does.
life.
You want a movie that has only one kind of monster.
Yeah, I can't suspend my disbelief past 2 pieces of magical realism. Just because, like, I need stuff to be based in some kind of reality. I think it's why I couldn't really get with Star Trek. Like, Star Trek is like, man, there's so much shit happening here, man. What's going on with that dude's forehead? Like, what's LeVar Burton's eyes are doing right? Like, what is even happening? I feel the same way about Star Wars. I'm like, what's important? Tell me what's important. I don't know any. There's like so much lore that you have to go through. I'm just like, you know, my fiance loves the Star Wars movies, and she watched The Mandalorian right now. She's like, okay, so that's actually not Yoda, but it's from the same species as Yoda. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
So
I don't care.
You don't want a mythology. You don't want world building. You just want, yeah.
I want something that resembles real life, and then if something is also wild about it, great.
Okay.
But like, I'm trying to learn shit when I'm watching TV, or you know what I mean?
You want a slightly heightened sense of reality, but not a full-on fantastical world.
Well, if we're gonna go, listen. I like 2 things. I like one thing that's like realism, and it's exploring like the relationships and like real emotions and that kind of thing. Or I like cartoon. I like Looney Tunes.
I see. So you want
know what I mean?
You want it all out crazy, or not crazy,
or not
About
crazy.
Space Jam.
I like space.
I haven't seen Space Jam in
What?
a long time.
You got to see Space Jam.
I mean, I have seen Space Jam. I don't think Space Jam is a good movie.
My God.
I'm pretty sure the new one's not going to be a good movie either.
There's going to be a new Space Jam?
Starring LeBron James.
Is that the dead one?
No, that's Kobe.
Carl B?
Kobe Bryant.
Did you say Cardi B?
No.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding with you guys. I'm kidding. Yeah. Dan, what did you do that night?
Hold on. Wait, no, I was the one watching Buffy.
Oh, that's right.
I think isn't she just like a cheerleader, and she also kills vampires?
Yeah, but she's the
it's kind
chosen
of based
one.
in real.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, cheerleaders are real. Yeah, no, I've come around to Buffy. I need to rewatch that show. I've, again, had a lot of cast members of Buffy on this show, if I want to brag.
So here's the thing about Buffy, man. Like, if it was just she's a vampire slayer, but most of the time she's a student, cool. But a lot of that is like, when is she in school? When is this girl going to school?
So you're worried about Buffy's grades? That's your big problem?
I'm more interested. That's the relatable thing. Her murdering people is not the thing that's interesting to me.
Well, she's not murdering people. She's murdering monsters. And they're not people.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with this country.
We vilify others and turn them into monsters. And we look at them not even like people. Did you find that Chris Burke video?
Speaking of,
Don't.
That was not
Don't.
a segue. How dare you? How dare you? Let's move on to Wednesday.
All right.
Let's start with Dan. Wednesday night, what'd you do?
what's the directors at 8:00? I saw that.
The Directors was sort of a Inside the Actors Studio sort of documentary show about directors. And this night, let's see who it was. They were like hour-long sort of biography type things. They released a few on DVD in the early 2000s. And this night, the Directors is... doesn't say. It's a profile on a director. But
What are you looking on right now, Ken? Are you looking on TV Guide?
Yeah.
Did you scan all these TV guides yourself, or did you?
No, I scanned them page by page.
Good Lord.
It takes forever.
I bet it does.
Yeah. I mean, especially like if someone pick like a jerk picks one from like the 2000s or later.
Have you had Margaret Lyons on this show?
No, I don't think I know Margaret Lyons.
She's the TV reviewer for the New York Times.
Oh, I'd love to have her on the show.
I'll connect you guys.
I've had the TV reviewer for NPR on and the TV reviewer for Entertainment Weekly, but New York Times would be great.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So in 2000 the TV Guide became a lot bigger? Is that what you're saying?
It gets a lot bigger in the 90s and 2000s because there's a lot more channels and stuff. So I don't mind scanning it, but it's funny if someone's like, I'll have one from 1960. I'm like, great. Half hour in and out. Someone's like 2004. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm calling into work. And then it take a couple days. Yeah.
So they don't exist anywhere else, or do you have to pay for them otherwise?
No, there's no one else has these.
You're doing a real service.
I am. I'm this is going to be for forever, for the future.
This makes up for that lady that killed herself for having a bunch of people call about the mobile home that she.
So I think that was a murder, to be honest with you. I think they made it look like a suicide. She put out an album with these two dudes. They look just like Ben and Jerry. Those are the kind of things I'll be spouting when my mind completely goes. Like just all of this stuff will just get just mashed up together.
No, I swear, I saw them in.
Oh boy. So where were we? Micah was picking or Dan? You picked the directors.
So the directors at 8 and Duke at Virginia at 9. I used to be a college basketball Duke fan.
Why?
Because my dad worked at Duke.
Did he play basketball?
He was the furthest thing from playing basketball. He worked in the light. He was a basketball.
I don't know if that would be the furthest thing, actually.
He is very well rounded. Thank you. And has a real bounce to his step. He worked in the library, so no, he didn't play for the team. But
is he a librarian?
You could say he's a librarian.
What does he kill? Is he a murderer for hire? What do you mean? He works in a library. I asked if he's a librarian, and you're like, in a manner of speaking.
Hey, my mom is also a librarian, and she does not enjoy being called a librarian.
What would she rather be called?
A media specialist.
Oh, so librarian's like the meter maid of the library world.
Yeah, I think you're not allowed to call them librarians anymore. Like it is more like specified things. Like you're like a tome researcher.
You know, this political correctness, it's out of control. And I was watching John Stossel's show the other night on Newsmax, and he had a great opening segment about how you can't call librarians anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of political correctness, I'm watching Corky from Life Goes On here.
His music?
Yeah, I'm watching his music. I'm seeing, all I'm seeing is him singing with two guitarists on like a local news station.
Sure. Yeah.
That's his music video or his rap song?
Micah, you got to say something so I can see it.
I was trying to show you, but it's not coming up because of my green screen.
That's okay. We'll look it up after. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's one thing they did. And the guys look like Ben and Jerry, right?
Yeah, without beards. Yeah.
One has a beard. Yeah,
but oh boy, he's got like an evil villain beard.
Yeah, he's got an evil hypnotist beard.
Yeah.
You guys both have facial hair and I don't. I feel a little bit inadequate. But this is the first year in like 3 years I haven't grown a depression beard for winter. So that's a good thing, I think.
I don't think I've ever seen you with a beard.
Yeah, I've never seen you like
It's
that.
Scary. It's real scary. I'll tell you that right now.
Things are going well for you, you're saying? Like, because it's...
Yeah, I guess I feel okay. I think I just needed to change it up, and for, I didn't want to do 4 consecutive years of winter depression beard.
Smart.
Yeah.
Ken, do you have gray hair?
Yeah, why? Can you see it?
I know. I just feel like you of all my friends, you don't age at all. You look exactly the same. Yeah. Like, I've seen pictures of you when you're 16, and I'm like, that's...
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, I looked older when I was younger, and I look younger now that I'm older. But
yeah.
I have gotten a lot of gray hairs in the last 6 months, I'll tell you that right now. Get some on the temples. Am I older than both of you? I'm 40. You guys aren't 40 yet?
I'm 39.
Oh.
Me too.
Wow. Yeah, well, let me tell you. It goes downhill, guys.
That's what I hear, yeah.
Downhill.
But you get younger looking, so that's cool.
Yeah, well, there you haven't seen how I do that. Someday they'll find out. Someday.
Super glue?
Yep, I super glue my face to my face. Oh boy.
Well,
Have we done with Wednesday?
no, I'm watching from 8 to 9:30. I'm watching live from Lincoln Center.
Who is on live from Lincoln Center that night? Is that a news magazine program?
It's I think it's a performance.
Let's see. What channel is that on?
But I couldn't really see. I think it's PBS.
Oh, yeah, it is PBS. See, 8:05 p.m., Channel 2 for details. Let's see.
Yeah.
Live from Lincoln Center. It is Perlman on the Penthouse, it says. What? Yeah, Perlman at the Penthouse. Violinist Ishtok Perlman, joined by the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra and pianist Rohan De Silva, performs personal favorites at Lincoln Center.
Yeah, so here's the thing about that. I didn't have cable growing up, so all of my selections are from broadcast television. And if, like, I would get stuck if there was nothing to select on PBS frequently watching, like, Austin City Limits or some other, like watching ballet or something.
There are worse things.
Oh, sure. I mean, I didn't think it was just sort of a malaise. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, man, there's like nothing really exciting right now. So I guess I'll just watch a bagpiper for an hour and a half.
You know, there's this is not a lie. There is a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band called Red Hot Chili Pipers, and it's a bagpipe themed. They play all Red Hot Chili Peppers songs on the bagpipes.
I did know that.
I'm going to check that out. I didn't know that.
Well, the one big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan here didn't seem to know that.
Hey, I've seen Red Hot Chili Peppers live too. The Foo Fighters opened for them.
I saw that round as well with Muse. Do you guys remember Muse?
I remember Muse. I saw the Foo Fighters' very first live show. Yep. I win.
Cool, Ken. And then at 9:30, I'm watching American Masters on PBS as well.
Of course you are. At American Masters that night, there's a very special Touch by an Angel where someone has HIV, which I'm actually surprised that they did that on that show. But at
it's 2000, man. It's like everybody.
Life Goes On had been going on for so long.
That's
Yeah.
not Touch by an Angel, though. This American Masters is Paul Taylor, Dance Maker, is an Oscar-nominated 1988 profile of the choreographer who, quote, defined American dance in the second half of the 20th century.
Yeah, so I'd probably watch that until 10 and then be like, what am I doing?
That's fair. Norm was on that night, which was Norm Macdonald's sitcom, which was awesome. And Laurie Metcalf was on it. It was a ton of people who worked on Roseanne who had left Roseanne, and it was fantastic. It's really, really good. And I highly recommend that people check out Norm. I think the whole series, it was only one season. I think the whole thing came out on DVD at some point in the past. Thursday, what did you do? Let's start with
Who's?
Oh, you know me. 8 to 9, I'm watching Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Same here.
I'm watching a rock block of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
And this is the U.S. version of the show, hosted by Drew Carey?
Yes,
That I'm not
I think
sure.
so.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I used to watch the British version in the afternoon after school.
Yes.
And
it
then
is.
I think Thursday night was like the American version.
Yes. Yes, it is. It doesn't say who's on the episode that night, but it is, because this was when Drew Carey could do no wrong. Like he was king of the world with the Drew Carey show and loved Whose Line and then started doing Whose Line. And
boy, his career trajectory has been like, that's what you hope for, right? Like, he had his own sitcom for like 7 years.
And it was good.
It was a good sitcom. Rep in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And then he hosted Whose Line for a long time.
It was
even though
Cleveland.
he's not an improviser.
No, but he can.
Sure.
Oh, it says included a game called Let's Make a Dab. Wayne Brady as a school marm, Colin Mockery as a priggish model, and Ryan Stiles as a pious frat boy.
So who's the fourth? That's what I want to know. Who's the fourth?
Probably Proops.
Think it's Proops?
Could have been Proops.
Proops was not bad on that show.
Proops is amazing on the. Proops is the best.
Well, let's be real here. It's Ryan is the best.
You think Ryan Stiles is the best on Whose Line?
Yes, by far.
I'm a Proops guy.
I agree.
For me, it goes. Yeah, for me it goes Ryan, Wayne Brady, Colin Mockery, Greg Proops, and Greg Proops is great.
It's just a high level of people.
It is a high caliber of short form improv. So I'm watching that 8 to 9, and then at 9 o'clock I am tucking into Frasier.
A show I could never get into.
I watched a lot of Frasier. My dad liked Frasier because the dad on that show reminded him of his father, and there was some unresolved things happening there.
Working some shit out.
Yeah. Okay, so at 9:30 there's a program called Stark Raving Mad.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Stark Raving Mad was a sitcom. It starred Neil Patrick Harris and Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah, so I did a little research on it, and I was like, man, that would be worth, like, just for me right now, that would be worth watching, because this is pre-Monk and pre Harold and Kumar.
Yep, this is post Doogie Howser, post Wings, pre-Monk, pre-Harold and Kumar.
Yeah. So you know I did a commercial with Neil Patrick Harris.
I do. I've seen it. You did the beer commercial, and he's you were the director, right? Was that the?
Yeah, I was the director. Yeah. He's a very nice man.
That's what people say.
Yeah. Very thin, very slender man. He's a slender man.
He's a slender man. The showbiz people are often either very small, so like short, or very thin, like frail thin.
Right.
Which is worrisome.
Yeah. So I would start at Stark Raving Mad, but if I couldn't, I may switch over to infomercials.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I've watched a lot of infomercials in my life.
What's your favorite?
I like the blender ones. Mm-hmm. I like the ones where they blend things up. I like the My Pillow guy is like, this is a whole, you made a half hour of content about a pillow.
Well, he's completely out of his tits, that guy.
Is that right?
He was a crackhead, literally a crackhead.
Oh, no. That I know who you're talking about. That's the ShamWow guy.
No, that's the My Pillow guy. The ShamWow guy bit a hooker's face off.
No, she bit his face off.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But no, the My Pillow guy is a big Trump supporter, and
I don't doubt that.
He was a crackhead in Minnesota, and then he did crack cocaine until he founded Jesus, and he's like a huge Jesus guy, and he says that Jesus gave him the idea to make those pillows out of foam trash.
I mean, he seems like a guy who was involved in a lot of multi-level marketing schemes until he found Jesus and got rid of crack.
Oh, yes. That's pretty much exactly what happened. My least favorite / favorite commercial for My Pillow is the one where the guy opens the medicine cabinet and he's in there and he's like, hey, having trouble sleeping? And then they're like, it's the My Pillow guy. And then the next day, they open it again and he's still in there. And he's like, how'd you sleep? And they're like, great. And he goes, I knew you would. But he's in their medicine cabinet, like the Candyman.
There's also one is not the My Pillow guy, but a guy who's got long hair and looks like he may have been a professional wrestler at some point, and he calls it a pillow.
A pillow.
A pillow.
Like you get your pillow.
Go get your pillow.
Or is it spelled that way and he calls it a pillow for like a
No, it's like a regional accent.
Okay.
He's like, you just want the most comfortable pillow. And I'm like, I can't get over what you're saying right now. Don't do that.
I think we need to design a pillow that's the size and shape of a man, and it's called a palo.
I like it.
Sleep in bed with your palo, and and it just feels nice.
Yeah, and like right around the crotch area, it just says it's got a little tattoo on the mons pubis that says deep dish.
You've gone too far. You've gone too far. Too far. That is, you're making a mockery of somebody's art. You know why it's called that? Because the sausage is on the bottom.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Did I just say oh dear?
Yes, you did, yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh my.
Lordy, lordy.
Oh, God. Oh, my stars.
Oh, my stars and bars.
We all just got the vapors.
Oh,
Dan,
didn't we?
Dan, what are you doing Thursday night?
Also, whose line is it anyway? I think that's one of the reasons I got into comedy. And then I went to an improv show, and I was like, why are you guys just doing whose line is it anyway? And then after that, maybe LA Confidential.
That's a great movie.
It is a very good movie.
You seen that movie, Micah?
Yes, I have. What happens in it, though?
It's about they're basically a prostitution ring that is using plastic surgery to make these sex workers look like famous Hollywood actresses, and then is killing them. Yeah. And there's like a rumor magazine, and then it has to do with the Los Angeles subway system and the corruption of the government who's trying to make the highway system. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I have seen it. It's way better than Des Moines Confidential.
Which cut did you see?
Unfortunately, the director's cut.
Yeah,
it was 8 hours long and shot in real time.
Yeah, you want
on a freeway in Des Moines, Iowa.
You want the TV edit. It's a lot better. It is a lot better. Anything else? So you're watching that all night, and that's the whole night because you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
Friday night, final night of the week. That's the words I know you guys have enjoyed hearing.
TGIF.
I can let you guys go. Do you remember what TGIF stood for?
Thank God it's Friday.
Nope.
This is going to be racist, isn't it, Ken?
No. You think it was actually racist, or that I would make up something racist that it was?
No, I think both.
It is possible that growing up here in Boston, I'm sure there was some shitbags in Charlestown who was like, TGIF, you know what that fucking stands for? And then it was some horrifically racist thing about Family Matters. But I am unaware of anything that is that. So I have not planned on that.
Well, all right, so what does TGIF stand for?
Well, you don't have a guess? Dan, guess? You don't guess?
Well, I thought it was Thank God It's Friday.
No. Thank goodness it's funny.
Oh.
Because you can't say God. It's TV.
Right.
It's going to say goodness, and it's not Friday. It's funny.
Yeah. I watched a lot of TGIF. Do you remember the original lineup of TGIF?
I do.
Perfect Strangers?
Full House.
Family Matters?
Pre-Family Matters, even. Full House, Mr. Belvedere, Perfect Strangers, and Just the 10 of Us was the very first TGIF.
Just the 10 of Us. Yes.
Yep.
Do you remember other shows that were on TGIF? Dinosaurs was one.
Dinosaurs was
I remember
one.
that.
Baby Talk was one.
Step by Step.
Step by Step. Boy Meets World. You Wish.
Boy Meets World.
Mego.
That's
Mego.
Teen Angel. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Was it?
Yep.
They went dark.
TGIF shows. They did go dark, and that's when Mike checked out.
Was Baby Talk like a spinoff of Dinosaurs, or was that a different?
No, because the baby dies in the last episode of Dinosaurs. I'm not even making that up. That's true.
Really?
The very last line in the very last episode of Dinosaurs, they're all freezing to death because the ice age is coming, and the baby goes, "Dad, are we gonna die?" And he's like, "I don't know, son." Done. Fade to black. End of show. It's great.
Wait, you're not fucking with us?
Dinosaurs?
That's insane.
With you. Well, and they got angry letters, and the Henson Company was like, "They're dinosaurs." You knew how it ended.
Was there like any drama leading up to that, or it was just like straight comedy pilot, and then they're like, "We're gonna die
out of the blue in the third act"?
Well, it's sort of, because that episode's very funny. It's basically the dinosaurs, for their own amusement, start pushing down trees because they think it's funny, and it basically causes an ice age. So they their own stupidity causes this thing.
Interesting.
And, it's really great. It's really great. Yeah, I've had Stuart Penkin on the show, who was the voice of Earl Sinclair on Dinosaurs, and it was funny to hear just how people reacted to that final episode.
and it was basically Family Matters, right?
No, it was more like The Simpsons. It was more like The Simpsons. Yeah, it was much more like The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, because he's like a laborer.
Yeah, he worked he was sort of like a Fred Flintstone kind of guy, and they had a teenage son and like a brainy daughter and a little baby, and yeah.
Right.
But Dinosaurs was great. 4 seasons for Dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't have good memories of I feel like it was dark. I feel like it was a dark show.
It was the last show that Jim Henson was personally involved with. So he developed it, but it started after he died. And it had that amazing quality that Henson had, which I always called, it was a fuck you hippie, because so much of Henson's stuff was subversive and like, you assholes are fucking it up. Like a lot of it was that, which is why all the Muppet stuff after him really, really suffers. And Dinosaurs was that. Like so many of the episodes are like these very thinly veiled, just really brutal satires of culture that, we didn't get with their stuff later. And it's great. I really, really, truly love Dinosaurs.
Was Neverending Story the Henson Company? Was that
No,
Henson
they
Company?
did some of the special effects, but it was not a movie that was generated by them.
He was Dark Crystal, right?
Dark Crystal was Henson, Labyrinth.
Yeah,
was
Dark
Henson.
Crystal is so, obviously dark. It was a dark movie.
And he was so ahead of his time with that movie because his idea was, we'll make puppet, fantasy movies for adults, basically. And he was 30 years too early. It was a massive bomb because it was literally coming off the heels of the Muppet movie.
Right.
It was the follow-up to the Muppet movie. Dark Crystal.
I guess you got to keep the tricks guessing.
Yeah, you do.
It's kind of like having 3.5 seasons of a dinosaur sitcom followed by Are We Gonna Die, Dad?
Yes.
And then
I don't know, son. I don't know. So you're doing TGIF all night, Micah?
Am I? Let me see. Yep, I'm going Boy Meets World. Oh, actually, no. I'm going, and then I'm switching over at 8:30 to Washington Week.
Why?
Just to catch up on the news of the week.
Okay.
I'm a big news program guy. I would, I got 2020 in here. I got a little X-Files. And then I'm watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
But you said that was too dark.
Yeah, but, I made a lot of mistakes watching television.
Okay, fair enough.
And then the Hughleys.
Hughley's, DL Hughley's sitcom on the WWWWB.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good lineup, Dan.
I also started off with Boy Meets World, probably one of my favorite shows then. And I've never seen Adventures in Babysitting.
What?
So I probably would switch over to that at some point.
Adventure in Babysitting is a great movie. It's sort of like a teenage version of After Hours, if you've ever seen the Scorsese movie After Hours. And I love Adventures in Babysitting. It takes place in Chicago. So I recommend you see it soon because it may save your life. You'll learn some lessons about what goes on in the town that you're living in right now. And in the climax takes place on that building in Chicago with the weird slanted roof, that like skyscraper that has like an octagon.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, it's called the Adventures in Babysitting building.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'll use that fact to get in with people around here.
Yep. Be like, hey guys, the Adventures Babysitting building, and they'll be like, hey, get in my cab and have some have a deep dish here. All right.
They'll be like, get him.
Yeah. Get him a cake. Why don't you have something? We love you. Here's a hot dog right down your throat.
Get him a hot dog with pickles and tomatoes on it.
Hey, how about we kick your ass and then put celery salt all over you and then call it Chicago style?
Dan, have you had hot dogs while you're there?
I have not.
You should get after that.
Yeah, it really is that good. I have like a weird thing when people are like, we have the best hot dogs. Like,
go down to the
really
Wiener Circle.
Okay.
The Wiener Circle?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a place that I don't know what's happening during COVID. Hold on. I'll check it out. Did you guys have a massive crush on Topanga and her crimped hair back in the day?
Yes. She went to college with my friend in Connecticut.
Is that right?
Yep.
For me, it was her and Winnie Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Samesies.
Everybody did. That was our awakening. I was in Chicago last summer and I went to an Italian beef place that Steve Albini told me to go to. And it was good.
Should I just Google that?
Yeah, probably.
Italian place that Steve Albini?
Yeah. He said they made the best Italian beef sandwiches. And he was right. It was pretty good. So, follow Steve Albini's advice for food when you're in Chicago.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, you should.
I'll ask around.
Yeah, just be like, you guys know Steve Albini? Actually, I went to an amazing tiki bar in Chicago, which again, it's pandemic, so you're not going to have a tiki bar open. But it was called Hidden Oasis, I think. It was in like North Chicago, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm seeing the different side of Chicago.
So Dan, Wiener Circle is on Clark Street. It's at Clark and Clark and basically Wrightwood.
Clark and Basic?
Clark and Basic. It's so it's a place where you go and they just talk shit to you.
Oh, I love places like that.
Yeah.
I went to Ed DeBevick's. Did you ever go there?
What?
I never been.
What the hell's that? That's in Chicago?
That was like another talk shit to you kind of place.
What's wrong with you guys? Why do you like
It was
that?
like, isn't Dick's Last Resort like that?
Yeah. I have low self-esteem. That's what's wrong with me.
So other people insulting you helps with that?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, tell me how much of a piece of shit I am for wanting ketchup.
That sounds like something a piece of shit would do.
Well, the hot dogs are real good there, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah. Just get a regular hot dog Chicago style. You can cut that out, Ken.
To tell him to get a regular hot dog Chicago style?
Yeah.
Or just the whole thing?
Everything that we've talked about, just cut that part out.
Just cut out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of cutting it out, I've had you guys on all night. That's pretty much the end of the week. We've gone on a journey here with this, and people will see that people I've known forever bring out the worst in me.
Yeah, I guess you would be not so familiar with like somebody from Baywatch, right?
Well, no, I've had some pretty good times with people from Baywatch. I'm not kidding either.
How's it?
You've revealed some things?
Yeah.
How's it been? So are you doing this once a week?
Oh, yeah.
Right now?
Sometimes twice, but at least once a week. Yeah. Haven't missed a week yet since I started on Valentine's Day 2014.
Wow.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for doing this. We'll have to all go out for a meal someday if we're ever in the same state again.
We should, and we
Yeah.
will.
We'll make it happen.
We will see each other again someday.
Well, we're going to watch The Bodyguard.
Great.
I'm supposed to watch The Bodyguard now and Wonder Woman 84.
At the same time?
Yeah, it's going to be a cacophony.
Well, that's why you have picture-in-picture.
Oh, baby, I see you in my TV set. Yeah, baby, I see you in my TV set. I cut your head off and put it in my TV set.
That's Micah and Dan and me. You see how I am with people I've known forever. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Pulling back the curtain. We've all lost our mind a little bit in the last 2 years, but maybe we'll find it, maybe we won't. Speaking of finding things, if you'd like to find me, you can do so at ken@icanread.com or tvguidancecounselor@gmail.com. I'm also at TV Guidance on all the social medias, or at Kenneth W. Reed, REID, on also the social medias. You can go to our YouTube page. I've been putting up most episodes as a YouTube episode as well, because people ask for that. Some get a lot of hits, some don't, but if that's something that you ask for, you can go check that out there. We are also on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/TV Guidance Counselor, and that is where you are able to pledge $1 or $1 million, wherever you want per month, to support the show. And I cannot thank you guys enough for doing that. It is I've taken a financial hit this year, as all of us have, because obviously I have no live shows, not doing any conventions, the stuff that I usually supplement my income with. So that is a huge help if you're able to do that. Or we have a TeePublic page. You go to teepublic.com / I think it's user / TV Guidance Counselor. And we have all the TV Guidance Counselor merchandise and designs up there. I think I might bring back the artist club, where I was doing sort of a different artist once a month, was doing different designs for the show, for t-shirts or posters. We only did 2, Sarah Cronin and Box Brown, but I might bring those back. And of course, Sam First from Monsters Are Good, who did all the others, which are great. But let me know if that's something you would be interested in, and I can do that, because I commission the artists, I pay them, and I like to support indie artists wherever I can, and it's mutually beneficial to everybody. Anyway, we'll be here next week, so I hope you will too, for a brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor.
We always got that deep dish pussy.
Yeah.